Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I hope you are having a fantastic start to your weekend here. With it being Friday once again, that means it's time for another weekly beauty chit chat. And if this is your first weekly beauty chit chat here, this video goes up every single Friday, and it's basically just an opportunity for me to casually talk about all of the fun, frivolous, completely unnecessary beauty products that I was personally loving or obsessing about over the course of the last week. Per usual, I have a little roundup of things that I want to chat about from this past week, and as always, I will list and link everything that I'm mentioning in the order that I'm mentioning it in the description box right below this video here if you'd like to know where to purchase any of these items, read up other people's reviews, or look at in-depth ingredient information. Check out the description box. She's usually a plethora of information. Anyway, before we get into it, I hope you had a great week. Let me know how your week was. Also, don't forget to let me know what you are loving this past week in the comments down below as well. My week was pretty good. Got back to work this week and that went really well. Was cleaning up other people's Christmas decor. I was also cleaning up my Christmas decor this week. Oh my gosh, the amount of time that it took me to get all this stuff put away was astounding, but I did it. Definitely has me kind of thinking about maybe, probably not, but maybe scaling back a little bit when I decorate for Christmas here in 2025. Honestly, I'm sure by the time November rolls around, I will have forgotten what an absolute nightmare it was to not only pack this stuff away, but to clean up all of the glitter afterwards. Man, there's a lot of glitter, but anyway, other than that, I think I managed to get sick again, or my cold that was with me over Christmas is just continuing on. Does anybody, please raise your hand if you are dealing with this like nonstop cold that just won't quit. I feel like by now I should be over it. And I felt like I was, but then I woke up on Tuesday with a super scratchy throat again and my nose running, and here it is Friday and I'm still dealing with this. So I'm kind of over it. So fingers crossed that with a little bit of extra rest this weekend, maybe I can finally kick this thing. But anyway, without further ado, let's dig into this week's faves. We're gonna start with perfume, and I'm gonna start with the fragrance that I reviewed this week. It's the Fleur Vanilla Skin. I mentioned it last week. Man, this is so good, you guys. If you are a lover of the warm, cozy vanillas, which obviously I am, I really tend to gravitate towards these types of scents. You're gonna love this. It's slightly masculine, but it's just so, it's also pretty at the same time. It's just a stunning vanilla with really great projection, pretty darn good lasting power. And man, it's beautiful, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and re-up the fragrance a little bit here. I love the atomizer on this one as well. It just is, I hate to sound like Olaf from Frozen, but it just feels like a warm hug. It really, truly does. It is heavenly, and I've already I've put a little dent in this bad boy. I'm not quite, obviously, at the halfway point, but I'll be getting there pretty quickly with this one. I feel like the fragrances that I purchased towards the end of 2024, a lot of those, actually, I guess I'll say pretty much all of those, I think, are worthy of purchasing full-size bottles. It could get expensive here. I might have to go ahead and go for some more travel sizes again, but it's hard when you know that you love something to not get, like, you know, the big mama jama of it. But anyway, this is gorgeous. If you are in the market for a new vanilla, this is absolutely worth checking out, you guys. By the way, I did get my strawberry letter in the mail. I ordered this from Sephora, and I'm not gonna tell you guys much about it yet, but I have to admit, this one really surprised me. I don't know, well, I do know what I was expecting. It really doesn't meet my expectations at all, but it is incredibly interesting. So stay tuned. I want to wear this one over the next few days here and review it next week. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting scent. So anyway, I will definitely get back to you on this one. But besides the vanilla skin this week, I was also wearing a couple of my other fragrances, some older fragrances in my collection. The first, and this was actually a gift from a really lovely friend of mine. This is from the House of Oud. I really had not heard very much about this company before, and when she gifted this to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. First of all, incredibly generous and beautiful gift, because these bottles are a freaking work of art. It looks like a hot air balloon, right? It has the most beautiful, like hand painted looking design on the top. And then this gorgeous little like gold basket at the bottom here. But this fragrance is Bon Bon Pop. And oh man, once again, if you're looking for a vanilla, oh, you cannot go wrong with this one. Now this one has a little bit of spice to it. I will have the actual fragrance notes going across the screen here. But it's kind of similar in that it is a little tiny bit masculine, but also still very pretty at the same time. A solid vanilla with just a hint of like this interesting spice to it that just makes you feel so warm, so cozy, absolutely stunning for this time of year. So I'm really glad that I was reaching for this one. Sorry about the sun, by the way. Yeah, listen, it's bright. It's gonna come and go, so bear with me. And then the other fragrance that I wore a couple times this week that I honestly hadn't reached for in a really long time, but the Sniff Tarte Deco. Oh, you guys, this has a cherry base to it. It's kind of similar to the Tom Ford Lost Cherry in a way. It's not an exact dupe of it, but same kind of vibe. If you love Lost Cherry, you're gonna love this. It's a sweet, beautiful, but deep and seductive cherry note. And then there's just, it also feels like it has like some vanilla running through it. I can't remember if the actual fragrance notes mention it, but it's another one of those where it has something in there that kind of makes the cherry a little bit like softer smelling, if that makes sense. It's just an absolute stunner. This is one where I feel like I have to be really careful with the amount that I apply because it can be quite heavy at the beginning. Now this is only an eau de toilette. This is not an eau de parfum, but all of the Sniff fragrances wear on me like they are eau de parfums, not eau de toilettes. They are long lasting. They are quite potent. And if I overdo it with this one, it's very easy to just be like it's too much, right? So a couple spritzes and this is pure heaven, and it lasts such a long time. Listen, if you're a cherry lover, you gotta check this one out. I think this is a great one, basically year round, but because it's a little bit of a deeper cherry scent, I think it's especially appropriate for the winter time. So listen, if you've never tried this, it is worth seeking out. It's really lovely, and I tend to get a lot of compliments on that one. So it's a good one, you guys. All right, let's talk about one hair care item. I mention this periodically, so it's time once again for another mention of this one. This is the ColorWow Dream Filter Pre-Shampoo Mineral Remover. I only use this a couple times a month. I've gone through so many bottles of this. I really love the way that this refreshes my hair. So the way that you use this product is you actually spray it in your hair before getting in the shower. So I will literally just kind of douse my hair with it and kind of rub it into my like scalp just a little bit. I'll typically wait about 10-15 minutes before hopping into the shower, and then I just wash and condition my hair per usual. And it's a really great way to remove any buildup from your hair. If you have a lot of minerals in your water, this would be something that I would definitely suggest checking out. We don't have a ton of that in our water here, but I just find that this gives my hair such a great refresh. You know how every once in a while, like when you're doing your hair, you're using all the same stuff and it just doesn't feel like it's working the way that it used to. Usually when I get to that point with my very much beloved styling products, which I talk about here all the time, when I get to that point, all I will do is use this to kind of give my hair a complete, like, just refresh. I then go in with my styling products after, and everything seems to work like a charm again. So I don't know what the magic is in this stuff, but it really does work for me. If you feel like you're kind of struggling with your current hair care products that you're using, maybe they're not working the same as they used to, maybe you just need to get some of that buildup off of your hair. This is a great way to do it. It's super gentle, you guys, and works like a dream. So anyway, I lost the lid to mine. I don't know where that went. I'm sure it's somewhere underneath the sink in my bathroom, but that's a fabulous product. Absolutely worth checking out. I love ColorWow in general, but I think this is probably one of their top products. This was introduced to me originally by my friend Susan, and she has never steered me wrong. So she's the one that really got me into ColorWow. So, all right, let's talk about a couple of skincare products. I feel like I just sneezed really bad. I might cut out here in a second, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I shared, before we get into this skincare stuff, because this matters for especially one of these items. So I shared my 1 month hormone replacement therapy update earlier this week. Listen, guys, I don't know if it's because of the HRT, but I feel like especially in the last like 2 weeks, I have noticed a change in my skin. And I never thought that I would say this, but I feel like my oil production has slowed down. And I don't mean just a little bit. I feel like it's slowed down a lot. I don't know if it has anything to do with the HRT, but I have actually found myself feeling like my skin is a little bit dry. And this is gonna sound dumb, but it's been a little exciting for me to actually experience this, because I have dealt with extremely oily skin since I was basically 12 years old. Like, the oil production is nonstop, or it has been nonstop for so many years of my life. I always felt like I was having to like blot my skin. It would just look shiny by the time, you know, that like noon rolled around. Like, a lot of times my makeup would just completely run off my face. Like, it was such a frustrating level of oil production. But I'm actually dealing with some drier skin right now. Now, it's mostly kind of around my nose, and then also like through here on this lower part of my face. But even on my forehead, my nose, and my cheeks, I feel like I haven't had like the type of oil production that I normally do, even in the winter. Like, it'll slow down a little bit in the winter, but not like this. So it's kind of an exciting change for me. Not that I want to have dry skin per se. It would be nice to just have normal skin, but it's nice to not have like an overproduction of oil for at least like a short amount of time. This is fantastic. I would love to have normal skin. But anyway, since I've been dealing with this dryness, I have had to up my moisturization quite a bit. Now, I was lucky to have received the new Paula's Choice moisturizer that it's the new, of course I forgot the name of it now. It's a ceramide, what is it called? I'll have it going across the screen here. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But I am able to use that one with its kind of lighter, more gel-like texture during the day, basically all over my face. But I have had to use this moisturizer in these more dry areas here on this lower part of my face, because even the Paula's Choice didn't feel like it was quite enough. So I've been using this here from Murad. This is the Hydrodynamic Ultimate Moisture moisturizer. It's kind of a thick, heavy cream. I normally don't use stuff like this during the day, but I am wearing this right now in this area, and boy, does this provide a lovely, lovely layer of hydration that has felt really good in this area here. It's not greasy. it does take a lot longer to absorb. I will admit that moisturizers like this do take a lot longer to absorb typically in the morning. I have no problem slathering this on at night and then, you know, looking a little greasier or whatever. But yeah, this, I usually leave this on for about 20 minutes before even going in with my SPF. And that has really kind of balanced my skin out again in this area. But yeah, it is weird for me to experience any type of dry skin. So I don't know if that has to do with the cold that I'm dealing with right now. Maybe it's just zapping everything out of my skin, or if it's the HRT, I have no idea. But I don't have the insane oil production that I used to have. And like I said, this has only been going on for a couple weeks. So I'm very curious to see if this is a long-term change for me. But I do know that this moisturizer right here is really helping that dry area. So I don't know, it's weird. Has that ever happened to anyone else? I'm very curious. Anyway, also I have been back on the vitamin C train. Every once in a while I will get off of it. I always use the Banish vitamin C serum after I do my micro needling. But I typically haven't used a lot of other vitamin C products throughout the week. So I finally, for the last couple weeks, actually decided to get back into using my Pharmacy 10% waterless vitamin C serum. This is fantastic. This has a lovely, really light texture to it that feels a little oily at first. It's kind of interesting because when you first put it on, you're like, is this oily? Like, what is this texture? But once it absorbs into your skin, you are just left with a really soft finish to the skin. It's not greasy, it's not tacky, it's not oily. But when it first goes on, it's a little bit deceiving. So give it some time to absorb. And once it does leave you with a little bit of a glow. You can see here, this hand, maybe, man, the lighting today is kind of a bummer, but this hand has a little bit more of a glow to it, whereas this is pretty dry. This is a really great vitamin C. If you have not tried this one, I love this airless pump. Obviously it's completely opaque, so it protects the vitamin C really well. And yeah, this in terms of vitamin C serums is one of my go-tos. It's fantastic. If you haven't checked this one out, I think it's definitely worth looking into. I really like that one a lot. Also, along with the dry face has been, my lips have felt a little bit drier. Now, I've been pretty good about putting on all of my, you know, lip balms and stuff like that throughout the day. But I have felt like I've needed an even more intense surge of moisture for my lips. So I have been relying pretty heavily on my beloved City Lips Night Oil. You can see that I'm almost done with this. I go through these fairly frequently. This is the most lovely lip oil that I've ever used. It's just really soothing to the lips. You can tell it absorbs into your lips. It almost plumps my lips up. In fact, today, this is pretty much all that I have on my lips. So this is just my natural lip color with just the oil over top. Sometimes I'll just run this out because it's kind of fuzzy. It feels good. Sometimes I'll just like run this over my lips a few times and it just, man, that hydration is delicious. If you have had no luck with any other lip oils and you're looking for one that really deeply nourishes your lips, I cannot say enough good things about this one. It is fantastic. It's absolutely worth checking out. I'm a big fan and I'm gonna need to reorder this here somewhat soon. So, all right, a couple of makeup products that I want to mention. The first is the blush for this past week. I have kind of wanted a bright pop of color. So I quickly opened my little blush drawer over here and pulled out, this was just the first one that caught my eye. It's the Color Fuse blush from Haus Labs, old Lady Gaga here. This is the shade Hibiscus Haze, right? Yep, Hibiscus Haze. It's this really pretty kind of almost like watermelon pink type shade. So this is what I have on my cheeks today. It is so beautiful. I love that more vibrant pop of color on the cheeks right now. So this is lovely. And then, all right, and we're back. The sneeze finally made its way out. So we have one more item to discuss here and then we'll wrap it up. This is the eyeshadow palette that I pulled out to play with this week. I have a pretty extensive collection of older eyeshadow palettes, and I have been trying to show each of those eyeshadow palettes a little bit of love every single week. So this week I reached for this bad boy. I hadn't used this in quite some time, and I had actually thought about getting rid of this. So before getting rid of it, I thought I would go ahead and just, you know, try it out again. So this is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette. Raise your hand if you picked this one up when it was first released. This was from back in the day when Kat Von D was actually still involved in her brand. She is no longer. So anyway, I gotta say, I don't feel exactly the same way about this palette as I used to. I still like it, but I don't love it as much as I used to. Now, I don't know if it's because obviously the eyeshadow palette's a little bit older. This typically isn't a problem with a lot of my other older palettes, but I don't find this to be quite as blendable as I thought it used to be blendable. Does that make sense? I feel like I've had to work at my eyeshadow looks a little bit more this week, but I think they've turned out good. I'm wearing it again today. So I've just been kind of craving some neutral matte eyeshadow looks. I was most recently using the Makeup by Mario, what is this? The Master Mattes, the Neutrals palette. And this has such great blendability for all of these matte shades. And so I was just craving more matte eyeshadow, and I thought this would be perfect for that. So yeah, there are essentially 3 quads in here. There's a warm, there's a slightly cooler, and then there's a little bit more of like a neutral quad as well. So we all remember what this one looks like. I have basically just been jumping between all of these colors and popping them in my crease, and then using some of these lighter shades to blend the crease out. I've been using this really deep dark black as my liner shade. Yeah, this is, listen, it's a nice palette. I don't even think you can still buy this anymore. But if you have it, I would say bust it out and try playing with it again. And if you feel the same way as I do, maybe, gosh, is it time to get rid of this one? I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna toss it out right now, but this is one of those palettes where I need to play with it a couple more times this year, and then by the end of this year, make the decision about whether I'm ready to finally declutter this one out of my collection. But yeah, I did find it a little bit surprising that I felt like I had to blend a little bit longer to get the look that I like. I like a very diffused look to my eyeshadow. I like things to kind of, you know, like ombre blend into each other. I don't like harsh lines. This has been the Neutrals Master Mattes from Makeup by Mario has been fantastic, because it's one of those ones where it's a very quick blend, right? Like you don't have to sit there and kind of make sure that things are flowing into the other shades. Like it just seems to almost naturally happen. Whereas with this, I really did feel like I had to work at it a little bit more. So I don't know, this one might be, it's on its way out of my collection, but I did play with it this week, and I did like the eye looks that I came up with. But I do think that, you know, it's a good reminder to go through your collection periodically, pull out some things that you haven't used in a while, and really think about whether you want to keep those things around or not. Not that I'm telling you to like get rid of all of your makeup or anything like that, but I think it's good to like reevaluate every once in a while, you know, whether something is worth keeping or not. So anyway, I'm glad that I pulled it out, and I'm glad that it might actually be something that I feel okay in terms of getting rid of. I know that I have not put a dent into any of these shadows really. I did use this quite a bit when I first got it, but it really hasn't seen much love as of late, and that definitely kind of, you know, says something. So anyway, If you haven't, I would say bust it out, see how you feel about it. You might be ready to let go of it, like I might be ready to let go of it. So anyway, that's all that I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.